Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome to another week of racing here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. A big week. I mean, we've got a couple of overnight cards here over the next couple of nights, but I'm excited for what's going to be headed into the entry box come tomorrow night because we've got some big stakes eliminations coming up. So hopefully we get enough to, hopefully we get a lot of entrants here for the eliminations because I love to see a lot of these quality youngsters compete here, and a lot of the best horses compete over the course of this racetrack. And along to take me through the action, not only this week, but tonight, is my Hall of Fame co-host, Randy Waples. And, big week of Grand Circuit action, but we had an off day yesterday, and I kind of said on Saturday, I was just going to spend the entire day doing watching football. That's exactly what I did. What say you?
Well, I didn't hold to my word the same as you there. That's exactly what I had planned too there. But no, just went into Milton, visited some people in there, and then got back, and then had some other stuff to do. Never really got at it, but I did watch a lot of Red Mile last night.
You had some good. That one was took a little bit of a back seat.
Oh no!
I just was glued into the NFL. Fortunately, my Ravens coughing up a 15-point lead with 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. You just can't get out of their own way, giving up big leads late. I just can't explain it. All the talent in the world, and Buffalo gets it done again.
Really, eh? Yeah. Buffalo staying strong.
Staying strong. They've got the reigning MVP, but we've got a two-time MVP at quarterback in Lamar Jackson, and they were cruising.
Yeah.
I mean, their win probability was sky high with 5 minutes to go, and it was a choke job.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
Wow. Unbelievable. Check them, put them on the Lasix program.
No kidding. No kidding. I'm hoping that they save their win for January, though. That's all that matters. And they always say week one is a liar, but I think one thing we know for certain is Buffalo and Baltimore are going to have a fantastic campaign, I'd say.
But, I mean, not that I'm a huge fan of any of them in there or whatever, but it would be kind of nice to see Buffalo finally get, the Super Bowl. They've been so close. They've had deep teams, good players, but they just seem like they could never get it all right together. But they're getting awful close.
When you have a quarterback as talented as Josh Allen, anything is possible. I mean, you need an elite QB in this league to get the job done. Yeah, he can do it all. I mean, that's the way you remember watching some of the quarterbacks, many years ago. I mean, they don't have the, agility and the versatility and the athletic ability, I should say, that some of these quarterbacks have in today's game.
No. The big thing back then was, you had to be big to see over the line. You had to be able to read the plays, and you had to have an arm.
Yeah,
that was it. They wanted you to have an arm, and some of them they did. They had a big cannon for an arm, but it seems like it's gone. The cannon of the arm is still there, but now they can run it. They can do whatever they want with it,
He's got it all. He's got the arm. He's got the accuracy. He's got the running ability. He commands the offense, and they're lucky in Buffalo. It's fun when you have a good quarterback. I mean, again, I'm lucky to be able to watch Lamar Jackson on a week-to-week basis, and some teams just keep striking out when it comes to drafting and obviously being able to develop talent. But speaking of Sundays, though, Randy, I mean, I love spending it watching football. We also might get a chance to kind of experience football and harness racing at the same time because we kind of got the announcement a bit last week, or heard a word of it, about Sunday racing, and we're going to swap a handful of dates here. I believe we're going to have 8 Sundays over the course of a couple of months, and that's going to tie into some Sunday night football action, I'd say. But obviously harness the post time will be around 6 and change, I believe. We're still going to have that Boxing Day 1 p.m. post, but I'm intrigued to see what the Sunday racing is going to hold. But I also wish, looking forward to seeing maybe if they're going to implement also like something where people can come out here, view the football games on all these screens that we have, in the grandstand, and provide some sort of like wing, drink specials, and make it a full day affair. Come for some NFL action, stay for some harness racing, especially with some Sunday night football on as well. I think if you can mix people's two loves, I mean, I think that's going to be great. And, an added opportunity to bring more people to the racetrack, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. Be kind of interesting, too, if what happened if, say, like right after the last race, if there was still a game going on and we did have, some crowd, put it right on that big Jumbotron.
No kidding, eh?
Wouldn't that be cool? Sit in the clubhouse or just, what I mean, and have something to eat and just watch the football on that big screen.
Yeah, so I guess, just a trial run, I guess, see for those handful of dates and see how it works out.
Sunday used to be huge. Back when we were in the city, and that Sunday afternoons, 1 o'clock, that was great racing, huge crowds. They bet like crazy back then, but then it kind of went for a little bit of a lull. It's interesting that they're going to retool with it again. But the big thing is, though, is that, like I said before, we had a 1 o'clock post time.
Yeah.
That was a big difference, get everybody out of there by 5 o'clock or whatever. We'll have to see how it works out. But I always looked at it as if you don't try, then how are you going to know if it's going to succeed, right?
Say you got to try, new things and see how you can implement them and see how they factor, right? I mean, again, if you want change in any industry or change in anything in life, I mean, you've got to try it and see how it works.
And what, we're dropping Thursdays? Yeah. So Thursdays haven't been exactly, wow anyway. Maybe the Sunday, the Twilight Sunday, maybe that'll take off.
Obviously Sunday heralded as a family day a lot. Right? You can have the opportunity to spend it here at the racetrack, and it's going to be an adjustment period, I'd have to say. But at the same time, playing devil's advocate too, you get 3 consecutive days off, which could be nice not for everybody, but some people might have the option to have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off. So for that stretch, I guess we'll see how it goes. I'm intrigued by it as well. And again, I'll have to, I don't know what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to need more screens now. I didn't think harness racing was going to have to
have the impact on your football life.
Oh, exactly. Just need more devices. I mean, Daz in the streaming app, I mean, you can only use so many devices. I'm just going to need a lot more.
You can do the show, and then we'll put a VR on you, too. You can watch the game as you're speaking into the mic.
These are the problems I have to deal with. How many screens I need to watch all the things that I'm required. But, we're looking forward to it, and we'll see how that's going to fare. Again, I think it's something we're all intrigued with. It's going to feel a little bit different coming in on a Sunday.
But it's, sometimes different's exciting.
Yep, absolutely.
And an adventure.
So that's going to kick off in November, I believe, as well. So looking forward to that. And we're also looking forward to tonight's card. But before we get on to tonight's card, we want to recap some weekend action as well, because we did have some stakes action over the course of the Friday and Saturday night, but we already looked at Friday nights on Saturday. So we're going to look at some Simcoe divisions and a Champlain division. And Crackshot had every opportunity, especially with a significant scratch. But you even said it last time out, you weren't sure if that was going to even make a difference anyways, because this Greg McNair trainee was sharp.
The way I looked at it is even if he was at 80%, I still think it's good enough to take them down. There's only one horse. Let's face it, there's one horse in this whole field that can beat him.
Yeah.
And he's got one horse to beat. It's just going to be a race between Maniac and this guy. And this guy looked great. And speaking of Saturday nights, too, the night of McNair.
Yeah, it sure was. And we're going to get to that momentarily as well. And we're going to get a chance to look at the Champlain Stakes here for 2-year-old Colt Pacers. And I think all eyes were obviously on Till the Cows Come Home and Sweet Love and Lou. Till the Cows Come Home, just getting a different kind of trip, cutting the mile in that effort. Sweet Love and Lou, no real estate up the inside. Windor doing it the hard way, though. First over, and, as Mike Vanderkamp alluded to, Randy, just never really has worked out a favorable trip. He's been a little bit unlucky, but McNair gave him every opportunity here, and they both got rewarded.
Yeah, unbelievable. What an amazing mile. I don't know if I was... I don't know if I was more surprised that Dougie was able to take that field down first over, or was I more surprised that Till the Cows Come Home couldn't last. I don't know. Something just the Carl's barn wasn't as sharp Saturday night.
I wonder. I'm curious to see next time we see him out if we're going to see a bridle change on him.
Could be. I'm curious. I think there might be some sickness.
Okay.
Just the way that they all race. They're all raced so good weeks before, and then all of a sudden, just seemed like this night they just didn't have oomph on the end of it. Like they raced good, but just not the oomph on the end of it.
Speaking of racing good, I thought that II Captain Deo, he needed that effort last week leading up to that Simcoe division. He got the job done, and obviously Bob McClure finishing second with his charge there at set shot, and not even, what was he at 80%? Was Captain Deo. This was the headliner here for Louis Philippe. He was not here on Saturday night because he had one drive in the Jimmy Ewart Memorial at Scioto Downs, and he made the most of it, Randy. I mean, just getting up for a narrow score. 119-4 the third quarter pole. There was nonstop action in this race, and nice to see Irvin on the receiving end of a pretty good trip here.
I never would have gave him a shot at the head of the lane. Yeah. It looked to me like he was going to be too far. 119-4, dude. Yeah. That is smoking, brother. 119-4.
What was he? 2/5 off the track record, right? It was always be Mickey and 147 flat. Is that not what,
Thank you, Barry Drury. Yeah. But let me look at those fractions. Half and 52 and change. Those are some big boy throwdowns there.
We didn't see it earlier on, but Captain Albano removed to the lead, and Woman Layer came right with him. Dexter Dunn and Woman Layer, and Todd McCarthy looked over, and they just went to duel the entire. Rest of the way, but I think Captain Albano, I think he's the best, small track horse that we have in the sport. He's game right now.
He is.
But a nice effort by Irvin Hanover. Congrats to Louis and Dave Maneri, a horse that right now is peaking. I think could be arguably the best open pacer in the division right now. He's certainly trending that way.
Got to keep that form for another month or so, Breeders' Crown.
And we spoke about Doug McNair moments ago as well. A big night for him as well. 5 wins for Doug McNair, a couple of stakes victories as well for him. And, he has these nights a lot, right? I mean, he's got the power, he's got the talent, and when he puts it all together, good luck.
Oh yeah, he's tough to take down when he's clicking, and he was certainly cracking good on Saturday night. What about this one here, John? The early pick 5 paid $36. The late pick 5, and there was 3 that night, right?
Yeah.
The late pick 5 pays $13,000.
I think it was the middle pick 5 actually. Was it the middle pick 5 or the late pick 5 that paid? It might have been the middle pick 5. I forgot that there was. That was an error on my end. I think it was the middle pick 5 that paid 13 and change, and it was.
How many times do you have it?
Yeah, I wish. I think I would have taken the day off if that was the case. But the middle pick 5, I should say, paid over $13,000 for a buck. It was Windor and Doug McNair kicking things off there at 30-1. That knocked out a lot of money, and Tarasi obviously being a part of that sequence. Silver Walls being a part of that sequence as well. And as we see here, owner Dale Hunter, co-owner of those couple of horses, Crackshot and Silver Walls. So he had himself a pretty good night as an owner.
Yeah, he did. We were us talking football, and here we go with a hockey star in there,
right around the corner. The NHL season as well. And that jackpot high 5, that continues to grow. Carryover of over $137,000. And, hopefully it just continues to climb and climb. And we have a nice wagering opportunity coming up to some marquee stakes events because there's going to be plenty of it. Always good to pair up great racing with some great wagering opportunities. I think when you can combine the two, I think it just makes it even more enjoyable.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And they've been interesting. I just kind of found the last few nights there, the pick 5s have been very interesting. You know what I mean?
Big discrepancy though between the two. $37 for a buck. There was a lot of favorites in that opening sequence. A lot of them, right?
Yeah. They're tough to take down right now.
Not often that you see a pick 5 pay $37 for a buck, right? But again, everybody was essentially just on the same horses. That's the thing with a parimutuel pool. You got to try and find a kind of a separator. That's what you need to try and find. Yeah, big time. Speaking of Saturday night as well, or Doug McNair and some other company that we spoke of, I'm sure we're going to see them here on the stats and standings. I would have to imagine we'll see Doug on this list here on the driver's side. And yes, there he is, tied in wins with 7. So he had his big Saturday night propelled him to a 3-way tie for wins. Jody Jamieson, James McDonald as well, and Louis missing Saturday night, still with 5 trips to the winner's circle. All 4 of these guys having themselves a big week.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're big summer for those ones right there, and then throw McClure into the mix there too. I seen a stat there the other day there. I think that if I'm not mistaken, McClure might have the most money made per start than anybody else. And that wouldn't surprise me because, boy, he's done well in the stake races this year.
He's getting good pieces with a lot of horses as well. Even if they're not winning tries, he's getting some good pieces as well. And, here's a look at the driver standings for the week. We're going to look at some trainer standings from last week as well. And Greg McNair having himself a good week as well. Obviously, Crackshot, the headliner with that stakes victory. But Tarasi got back into the winner's circle, too. He put forth a good effort.
He did, yeah. McNair's barn's starting to fire pretty good there, too, and just every year this guy comes up with another, good group of horses.
And Jody Cullen, Kyle Fellows, we've seen their names on this list several times. And Gary Murner back on this list, and he had Highland Beach Lover on Saturday night as well as II Captain Dale. But I'm sure he was really pleased to see his 3-year-old colt get back into the the winner's circle and put forth a pretty good effort again. A colt who he said was probably 80%. For him to put forth that kind of effort, I think you got to be encouraged. And I'm curious to see if they're going to opt to go to the jug route. I know Gary spoke about that he's going to discuss with everybody to see if that's the direction they're going to go. But this is a colt to, again, he lost by a neck earlier on this season in Sun Beach Stakes Division to Prince Hal Hanover. That's a pretty good reference point, right?
Yeah, but has he been on a small track?
I can't recall.
Yeah, me neither. I'm drawing a blank.
I don't know if he has.
But I'd like to see him there.
Big time. He's got talent. He's got speed. He's got some grit too.
Oh yeah. He's a nice horse.
All right. There's a look at some stats and standings as well, and we're gonna just dig into some action tonight and just speak about what we've got on this 11 pack, I should say. We've got some sire stakes action here for 2-year-old trotting fillies, leg 4. We've got 2-year-old pacing fillies as well for leg 4, and then we've got a couple of divisions of that as well. So races 2, 3, and 5. So those kind of occupy some of that pick 5 sequence as well. And we've got more grassroots action on the second half of the card as well. 2-year-old pacing fillies, trotting fillies, and I think some of these races are wide open though. There's horses that I don't mind trying, but I can't say that anybody's a standout in some of these races, I'd say.
No, and then tonight, too, I don't know if it's tonight or tomorrow. Do we have many sire stakes on for tomorrow? I can't remember. But anyway, you're starting to notice because of the season starting to draw on. They're starting to become separated. The ones that maybe aren't doing good in golds have now basically dropped down to the grassroots. Some of the grassroots have dropped down to the prospects. Some of the prospects have just come out. There's maybe one or two tonight, and they've gone right into the grassroots, and I'm going to use them first asking, you know. So, I mean, very interesting time of the year. It seems like the deck's been shuffled, and, you know, now we're going to have to start to see where they're all going to, you know, stay. So very interesting race tonight. We've had some, you know, some of the horses like a chicanery coming back up from Lexington, you know what I mean? Where is she going to fit in there? And really, really interesting time of the year.
Yeah, and we've also got, you know, non-provincial action though, but regarding landing on time, I mean, the Canadian Trotting Classic, assuming if there's eliminations, that'll take place on the weekend. Nice prep race for him gearing up for it. I'm sure they want a really good mile going into that, you know, elimination or final. I'm sure that Rick Ziron on James McDonald would like a good effort. And, you know, he's had a couple of, you know, clunkers, made the miscue last time out in Kentucky. You know, wasn't really much of a factor at the Meadowlands, but we know this guy's got a lot of talent when he's on his game, and you have to figure Rick's going to have him in tip-top shape tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I agree with you. I'm using him, but I don't think I got him up on top, though. Yeah.
All right. Let's dig into this action as well right now, and let's dig into some replays that you've submitted. Again, I think it's a pretty competitive card here this evening, so I think if you take certain approaches and get rewarded for it, I think there's a good chance you're going to see some decent payouts as well. And we're going to go into race number 1 here, and the 4-5 favorite is a horse who's coming off a miscue last time out. That being said, I still thought he recovered nicely off the break, and you know, you just have to kind of watch him visually to see how he was moving. I pegged him as a wild card here, and I think he's got, you know, debatably, arguably you could say he's got the most talent in this group, but he's got some quirks. So he's 4-5 right now. You know, it's a short number, but there's other horses coming off some pretty good efforts. And how about Ultra Miles? That effort was pretty good last time out. And look, that was a big mile. I can't, you know, that was a really good try on a horse that was ready to put forth a big effort in Major Bank. And I thought that was a good effort. What about you?
I completely agree. Now, where did you go in this race?
I went to the 6 horse.
Yeah, okay, so did I.
Yeah.
So let's take a look. The replay that we did send out, as John was alluding, Ultra Miles, I got him down as sneaky good on the end of it there. So let's take a look at this last start for him. He shows 27-3 on it. But, you know, middle half, though, you know, middle half and 59 seconds. So it kind of set him up in a way as a bookend, you know, 27-4 going out, 27-3 on the end of it. You know, probably one of his fastest miles yet, 54-2. But just love the way he did it. So here he comes. He's going to be moving forward here for Mr. McClure. And we're right here on the end of it there. So anyway, good movement on the end of it. Like I say, he's not going to be able to get the job done in here and against Major Bank. But Major Bank was well done, but he's the best of the rest and still moving forward on the end of it. So I got him in for second, Ultra Miles. I'm going to go Caballero as well. And then the one that to me is kind of an interesting one is, did you use Ivy Lynn?
I did. I've got her in for second.
Second?
I think it's intriguing. I think the trainer change intrigues me. I think, you know, one of those things where the fillies had talent, showed glimpses of talent, but just hasn't really been able to piece it together. I think when you know there's ability there, and sometimes, you know, horses just need a new change of scenery at times, and I'm intrigued by this new change of scenery in J.F. Maguire's barn. So one that I couldn't leave off. I know Garnet's going her direction, but this is a filly I think could put forth a good effort tonight.
Where would you, like, what would you maybe put down as J.F. Maguire as one of his big talents? I would say soundness.
Yes, okay.
I say he can get a horse really sound. Now, here's a perfect example with this Ivy Lynn. So her last 2 starts in Tierney's barn there, she started making breaks. And they had to go back to the hobbles. Usually a horse starts making breaks for a reason, and that is maybe sometimes, you know, there's a lameness issue, soreness issue. You know, young filly, still probably growing in that, you know. But I find him to be very, very good with these kinds of horses. And, you know, he qualifies her, or not qualifiers her. The last time that they got the hobbles back on her, the last time that Tierney raced her, she finished a good 4th in there. Last quarter in 27-3. Now she goes into a guy's barn that, to me, this is his forte, is these kinds of horses, you know, that have, like John says, that have talent, but haven't exactly been able to piece it all together. He seems to be able to map it out pretty good for them. So I think she's going to be kind of dangerous in here, John.
He's having a great year, especially with the amount of horses he's raced as well. Just shy of 200 starters. He's going to hit that mark here, you know, this evening. But again, really strong year for J.F. Maguire. He's a sharp guy.
Just training just below a 400 average.
Yeah, very sharp guy. So that's one that I think that you have to kind of you know, monitor, and obviously one that I included in my early pick 5. It was tough for me. I believe I did leave out Ultra Miles on my pick 5 ticket despite the effort. He's got an outside draw to work with. 1 for 15. I think some other ones are camera shy. I like Caballero a little bit better in terms of, I think this horse has so much ability.
I agree.
Just a lot of quirks. And again, that replay that you showed, I know we were focusing on Ultra Miles, but Caballero, if you watch James McDonald, at the head of the stretch, he was a few lengths behind, the rivals. He was moving arguably better than anybody in that stretch. He was just out of it.
Yeah, he trotted the back half in 55 seconds, and I don't see anybody else in here that's even close to that kind of speed on the end of it. So basically, he just has to keep him trotting.
I would have to say so as well. Again, you got him in a way in a pretty good spot, and then off he went. But this is a horse I think should be able to get the job done in this group versus this group if he can piece it all together. We're going to move on to race number 3 here, and we've got some grassroots action here for 2-year-old pacing fillies and field of 8. And we're going to get to look at the morning line favorite On Fleek. I mean, she's getting better, and she's dropping some time. She's putting forth some pretty good efforts. I thought Takes No Bull, your top selection last week, put forth a pretty good effort. There's another filly who's been consistent so far this year, and I thought her last effort was a good one. And she's coming off a win 2 starts back. CJ Desby is one that you've been mentioning since she started her racing career. And I think she continues to get better with each and every start. And I think we're going to see a much different approach here in a grassroots leg tonight.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Is that where you're going?
Yeah, I went
too.
all in on her.
Yeah, dead.
Yeah.
She's my all in too.
There
you go. Yeah. No, I love her in here tonight. And let's take a look at that last race. And that last race, she raced June the 10th at Georgian Downs. And then this is August the 10th at Georgian Downs, and this is August the 29th. So this is almost 3 weeks later. She puts up this kind of an effort. This is in against grassroots starters. So she's seeing Lavender Sealster, Cold Creek Kajala, or whatever that is. She's in against some nice horses in here. And as John said, she's been ultra consistent all year long. So I thought that this was a really, really nice effort here for J.R. Plante and Jacques Dupont. And I'm hoping that she's going to be able to come up with a nice effort in here. Look at JR coming with this girl, and not overly big, but is she ever put together well? Kind of like a little tank out there, and she just keeps coming forward. Way back at the head of the lane, but just keeps moving forward. That again is an effort where she hadn't raced in close to 3 weeks, 19 days actually, to be specific on it. And I just think that there's huge improvement now that she's going to come back in here on a much, much better date.
Yeah, completely agree. And she's raced well racing off the pace, but I tell you what, she likes to fight when she's on the engine. I mean, Cackleberry was one who just got it done narrowly a few starts back. Her win at Georgian a couple starts ago, I mean, she got looked in the eye. And, this filly put the rivals away. So this is one that J.R. Plante has done a really, really good job sitting behind her, just keeping her brave, keeping her sharp each and every start. And tonight, I think she's coming into this race, arguably the sharpest of them all. But I'm intrigued with the same thing, only different here in this spot. One that didn't look comfortable, and we've kind of seen that in a couple of starts from this filly and some starts prior. But she's got a good draw to work with. I think she could be a little bit of a sleeper player in here, but I think CJ Desby looks like she's in a good winning spot here.
Yeah, I like CJ Desby the best, but I mean, I'm wondering, is this the night that Caroline Nielsen charts her first win?
Yep, she's getting closer. She's getting closer. On Fleek again, a nice second place, finished a horse with a plan who you really liked last time out and got the job done on the engine. So there's a look at the selections there for race number 3. You and I both going the direction of CJ Desby. Guarded and Kevin Ploucher going with her in for second. Garnett's going to take a shot here with a 5-star rating. I mean, this is one.
I like this one.
Yep.
Yeah.
This
Are
one
you using this one? I got her in for third.
I don't think I've got her underneath anywhere, but one that's I thought came off a nice maiden breaking score.
First
2
start
starts
for
back.
Boyd Wilson.
Yeah, this is one that I think has some intrigue as well. Tough trip last time out as well.
Yeah, I agree. This is a pretty good. You could go a lot of different ways in this race.
Like I mentioned, I think some of these races there's no real standout. I mean, race 2 I opted to go with Belle Boo Boo as a single, and what's a wide open second race. I mean, you got to take a stand somewhere, and even the other races that we're going to get a chance to look at, including race number 4, that's a pretty wide open race as well. So we're going to go from the pace and switch to the trot here for some aged trotters and a group of 10 in this spot. Look, I mean, the morning line favorite's Willie's Home Run, and she's coming off a really, really good effort. We know the class that she has versus this group, but there's got to be 5, 6, 7 horses coming off some good efforts here in this spot. And there's one in particular that you and I spoke about being intrigued with. And speaking of J.F. Maguire, Devil's Arch was one that came into his barn for the first time, last time out, and he was coming off a stale date. Jody, who was familiar with this guy, got a chance to be aboard him. Wasn't able to be a factor, but there's a reason he wasn't able to be a factor. Just an unfortunate trip, and obviously, something took place towards the back of the stretch that we're going to get a chance to see right now, and I believe that's an effort that you'd love to highlight in the spot as well.
Yeah, I think that the Jamiesons has done an incredible job with this horse, and I see that JF has bought him, and first start moves him on to Lasix.
Yep.
Now that to me automatically, he brought my ears up, but he came in a stale date, so I wasn't using him, just more or less watching him, and you can see right now Jody at the back of the pack with him, and nothing really going on, a lot of separation. On this one now. So at this point, I'm thinking to myself, hey, I'm kind of glad that I didn't use him because, it doesn't really look like he's firing up big time out there, and he's got a long ways to go. But then when we start to get to the head of the lane, boy, oh boy, like the body language on Jody at this point, he's never once asked this horse to trot forward. And look at the hold he's got on this guy. And like I say, tonight's going to be second start Lasix. So now he's made up about 6 lengths. And look at the body language again on Jody. He's just waiting. And then boom, here's the wheel lock. The wheel lock comes from the back end of it, and his race is over. And I mean, Bert was right beside him. Bobby was a little behind him. And look what these two do. And I swear that Jody's horse was every bit as live.
He was going to be a big factor late in that stretch. I mean, there was still a long way to go. And if he found a clean seam in that spot, just unfortunate to hook wheels in that spot. But that was a horse that looked like he had a lot to go. And, we don't know for sure because, obviously he hooked wheels and we couldn't see. But to me, it looked like he was going to be a big factor late in the mile and pick up a pretty good piece. Yeah,
and it's what he's done in the past.
Absolutely.
We know that this is a deep kind of a horse. Like, this is a pretty good horse here, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And now tonight, too, he picks up James McDonald. So he's going to get the rail, which I'm not a big fan of, but he is going to pick up James. And to me, it didn't work out for them last week, but there was no harm done to him. He just sat last. And, I mean, that third quarter, John, 27-1. You see how easy he was doing that?
Big time.
I think that this horse is a really, really live one tonight for you guys.
I think Mastercraft won that Garnet's got pegged as a spot play. Every time I see him around this level, I just think that you're going to put him on top instantly because this is a level he's going to be competitive
and I love
in.
This horse.
He's got a great draw to work with. We've both factored him underneath. You and I are going to try with Devil's Arch again. Even Kevin Ploucha as well. So, a string of ones there. Just intrigued with this guy because that was a horse that looked like he was going to pick up a good piece. And if he can work out a clean trip, and I'm curious to see what kind of effort he can put forth. But again, I think Willie's home run, Randy, this is one who merits a lot of respect. Peel Rainbow Dash. I mean, Bobby electing to go to Phoenix in the spot from the outside, with a mare who's been super over her last few tries. And, Bob gets along greatly with this mare. And again, she's camera shy, she's wind shy. One that I'm going to use in the pick 5 because one of these days those trips are going to work out, and she's going to get there one of these days.
Yeah. She shows 26-1 on the end of it. If she can come 26-1, gets a little bit of clean air, who can hold her off? Nobody. So she's going to be, and another one too, there's Tactical Stride. I thought the Answer did a great job with this one in her last. It was tough for me to leave her off. I really do. I know she's moving up in class. I know maybe the form wasn't great up till that last start, but I like the way he raced her in the last. And I'm not 100% sure if the way Jody raced her the week before didn't help her. Maybe burst her loose a little bit, because she was getting a little bit stale. Jody rode at her. Didn't really work out that start, but the next start, Scotty takes her back and goes back to the way he was racing her. She was huge on the end of it.
She fits in this group if she can find her form.
She's
got the talent,
speed.
Right? She just hasn't been able to put it together consistently, maybe over the last several starts. But you mentioned it before. You wanted her to be raced from off the pace is what you thought, and Scott Young gave her that kind of drive, and she just blew past them all.
She blew right around them.
So, but I think this is going to be a tough to step up here, and obviously you've got a confidence boosting score, but to step up against this group and do it a week later, I think could be a little bit tough. But one that again can continue to get better and maybe find her form from what she was earlier on this year and even a bit of last year. All right, we're going to move on to race number 6, and that kicks off the late pick 5. We've got more grassroots action here for 2-year-old trotting fillies. We've got a field of 7 in this spot, and Cupid Hall is going to be the morning line favorite in this spot. One who has tried the golds multiple times, has raced in a Tompkins gears. This is a filly who's hit the board 4 times in 6 tries this year, Randy. She got beat by a filly who I think right now has cemented herself as the best in the grassroots division in Blue Jean Gal, who we're going to see in a couple of races later. She draws well, but I think there's some other options you could go here in this spot. Did you go that direction?
No, I got Ricky in for second.
Okay.
You know, I agree with you. I mean, that last mile was a big one, too, out of the 10 hole. Big 3-wide park around the first turn, chopped it after that, and then just gets picked off by, like John said, now remember those words, the top grassroots filly, and I agree with him. I think Blue Jean Gal has cemented herself as number one in this division. She's the girl to take down. So now Ricky comes in here with this one. Now, first off, got to give the Zed big props. You know, win a couple of races the other night, and he's going to be driving this one himself there tonight. So best of luck, my friend. But I think you're second best, only because of the date. That's all. I'm going to go 6-horse in here, elbows up. And we're going to show the replay. That last one, we're not showing that one. We're showing the one on August the 21st where she had the 9-hole, left out of there really, really hard for Billy Davis. And she's going to finish second in here. And who's she going to finish second to, John? What we both consider to be the number one 2-year-old trotting filly in the grassroots, and that's Blue Jean Gal and Bert Renault. But look at elbows up here when Billy moves off his back. Now, number one, he ain't moving off her back if he thinks that he doesn't have any go. And I'm not saying that he did. He didn't improve, but he got away from the rest of them back here. He's not an answer to her. We both agree how deep the Walker filly is right now, but he doesn't have to look at her again in here tonight. I think that his biggest competition is Zeron. And Zeron's got a nice filly, a fast filly, and a really, really nice one. She's going to be coming down where she started her career off in the Golds, moving down into this grassroots. So it's going to be a nice little drop down, but the stale date does bother me a little bit. So elbows up. I'm going to go this way looking for a price.
Much better draw to work with, middle of the gate. You have to figure she's going to be aggressively handled in this spot. She'll get away. I think it's good. She's going to have a better opportunity to get away cleanly in this spot. I'm intrigued by Blue Rare, though, in this spot. I think Blue Rare, she looked like she had some trot in amongst the leader last time out, and she wanted out, and she could not get out whatsoever. So this is one who has a win to her name a few starts back. And I think that effort's going to make her even, braver coming into the start. I'm going to single her in the late pick 5, make her a best bet here in this spot, and just take a little bit of a shot. But I agree with you. I mean, Cupid Hall and Elbows Up, those are two main players in here. Curious to see about Lily Rain tonight, though.
I was going to ask you that.
This is one who, again, she took on a couple of fillies who have tried the Golds. She was third in that contest, a distant third. But this is one that I think has continued to get better. To me, right now, early on, it doesn't seem like she wants to go by them right now. But this is a filly that, again, I think has put forth really good efforts early on. And I think, with more starts, I think she's going to mature more and more.
I agree. Love the barn. She comes out and she picks up Chris Jr. tonight. That's always nice, too. But the reason why I didn't use her, John, is because in her last 4 starts, she's made 2 breaks. Both of them behind the gate, and she's got the rail tonight. Yeah. And the rail sometimes can be tricky. No matter how good of a driver you got on it, it can be a little bit tricky. So I'm going to take a wait and see on Lily Rain, but I agree with John there. She definitely, can be part of this race.
All right, there's our thoughts there in race number 6. We're going to move on to race number 7 here in this spot. And, we spoke about some competitive races. I think this is a competitive race as well. I know we have a horse that's going to be dropping way down in class in Sid the Kid. You have to figure this is going to be a really good spot for him. But Quebec Hanover can put forth a pretty good effort. I tell you about Emoji Hanover. I know she's, facing tougher tonight, but, this is a sharp mare, and I think she belongs with this group as well. So I'm going to ride her momentum here and hope that she can get the job done for a 3rd week in a row.
I agree.
Okay.
Completely agree with you. That's the route that I'm going to go to, and Quebec Hanover in for second. Now, one thing that I did maybe a little bit different is I went Penn and Teller Hanover on the bottom. Did you use him?
You know what? I used him underneath.
Yeah, me too.
I liked his effort last time.
I like both the Blay horses in here. I think that either one of them could come up with a big effort. But as far as Emoji Hanover, there's a ton of speed in here, but I don't think anybody has the speed on the end of it that she has. All she has to do is see a clear trip and get brought into the race somehow, short field like this, and look out, because she can absolutely sizzle on the end of it.
It took her a few strides to really get into gear, but man, when she did.
Can she ever go?
She can go, and again, you know what? They went to that Pelling pacifier, was it, a few starts ago?
Completely different.
She looks so much more relaxed now.
And then the big thing is the relax before the race even starts. Remember the few times we've seen her before she had it on? Like, it looked like Louis was doing everything he could to kind of keep her, and ever since that she's had the Pelling put on, she's been a different horse. First time for Sam Filion, and now the last time that that the first time Louis drove her, the last time for Sam Filion, now back to Louis, and she's just like a different horse.
I'm curious to see what kind of trip or how Louis is going to handle her off the gate. Is he just going to kind of say, handle her cautiously like he has the last couple of starts and try and trip her out, or is he going to maybe say, you know what, this mare feels more relaxed, it maybe takes a little bit of a different approach, but there's going to be speed to chase here in this spot anyways.
There will be, but Sid the Kid has the rail. That's one of your speeds there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to nullify a little bit. If I'm Louis, you know what I mean? I mean, you always take that pause behind the gate to see how it's setting up. But it wouldn't bother me in the least to come out of there with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I honestly do believe that she's a different horse now than she was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, and Penteller Hanover, one that we got a chance to see, a few starts last year and 12 starts so far this year. A lot of them, his recent starts, I should say, in Kentucky, racing at Oak Grove. Some nice efforts there. Brett McDonald guiding him in those efforts, and this is a guy who's been razor sharp. I mean, you could see, a $500,000 yearling purchase. The pedigree was there, and everything in the talent, and he seems to be putting it together. I think there's more stakes engagements in Kentucky for this guy as well, coming up maybe in a few weeks or a month or so.
Oh, it'd be interesting. But boy, oh boy, Brett McDonald, a nice little pickup for the Determination, and Brett McDonald racing for $205,000 and gets the job done. Well done, Brett.
He was doing some racing over there with Salzburg Victor.
Oh, right.
Racing him at Oak Grove. So he was there, got a chance to drive his old guy, and then get a chance to sit behind Penteller Hanover here.
Nice little trip.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see what he's going to do here in this spot as well. One that I think can put forth a good effort. We're going to move on to race number 9, and we spoke about some, the top grassroots filly who we believe is in the division. Blue Jean Gal, morning line favorite. She's going to be much shorter than that morning line, and I just can't play against her.
No.
Yeah.
The problem is she's getting stronger.
Yeah.
So we, the first replay that we showed with Blue Jean Gal, and it was when Cupid Hall was in there, finished second. Then we showed her with elbows up, the last one where, she kind of handled her pretty easy, win by 2 1/4. But then this next one, let's take a look at Blue Jean Gal in this last start on August the 28th. This one here, we're really starting to see she's powering these things up, and where it's really noticed is that second quarter in 28-1. Then he does get a little bit of a breather, and then she just powers right back up again. And I mean, just a great job done by Bert. And I love this. Look at the look around by Bert. You want to talk about going into Central Park for a ride in a carriage? Check this out. He's just looking around, and I mean, he doesn't have a care in the world. And as this is what I'm saying, look at the separation that's going on here. He's going one way, tight hands, tight lines, and everybody else is just trying to stay with the vapors.
And what we didn't see on the replay there, what you kind of mentioned, I mean, he stretched her out early a little bit because he made that aggressive move and he cleared. He did get that breather, but sometimes you want to see just how deep they are. If they've got a little bit left, if you want to use them early on, and I thought the filly responded greatly. Again, he just whistles to her at the head of the lane, whip up, doesn't even lift the line.
No,
I mean, this is one who's got some she showed it in the qualifiers. I mean, they were sneaky good efforts there in those qualifying tries, but she's been able to put it all together in her young career. And again, just a bunch of 2s here on the board.
Where did you go?
Yeah.
Oh, you 2s? Okay. Now
here's
on this one, did you use the 5? Yeah, you used her in for 4. I didn't use her. Now, what's going on there? Because this, to me, at one time was the best looking trotting filly in the grassroots. But her last 2 starts, 31 seconds on the end of it both times. And then the last time, she was bet down to 70 cents on the dollar. You know what I mean? And come home in 31 and change on a 7/8 mile track. That's crawling speed, and that's not the way she normally performs.
And in the peaceful way, obviously, I got a chance to speak to Mark Stacey in the paddock prior to that card, prior to her start in her most recent. And I said, Mark, did her air shut off or anything like that? Like, did Todd mention anything? And he said, he didn't feel like that was the case. He said that he popped the plugs. They went to the earplugs for the first time. And, when Todd popped them, he said she just dropped the bit. And, as he said, that's Mark was, mentioning to me that he's had fillies in the past that that. You pop the plugs and they just drop the bit. Yep. So, he was hoping that was going to be the case and she could come back with a bounce back effort. I felt confident after those comments. But another 31-second final quarter. Look, she's in to go again. I think that's encouraging.
Yeah,
back in a week. hard to really consider her a main player. I mean, if she doesn't show, a semblance of what she showed earlier on. The talent's there again. I mean, there's no way this is the filly that she is over her last 2 tries. She's got to be the one that we saw the first few starts, I'd have to say.
Yeah, and my thing is there was no equipment change come in.
Yeah.
No change is going to be made tonight. She's back into go, like John said. So my thing is, if you get a chance, really take a good look at her on the screen.
Yeah.
She could show you all you need to know on the screen.
All right, we're going to look at some pick 5 action here. Let's look at your early pick 5 ticket. You are going to go all in on Caballero. I was thinking about doing that, but I wasn't as brave as you in that sense. So, yeah, he's taking support. He's going to be the one to beat here in this spot, and I think he's a boomer bust candidate.
Either you're getting through or you're not. Yeah. But I agree with you with your statement earlier. I do think that he's the deepest horse in the race.
Yep.
So he's going to be my single in there. Race number 2, I'm going to go HB Sophia and HB Imagine, the 2 inside horses. Race number 3, single CJ Desby. Race number 4, I'm going 1-4 in there, Devil's Arch and Mastercraft. And race 5, I struggled with. Didn't get a real good read on this race. I was going to hit the all button, but instead I just kind of tried to pare it down to the way that I think is going to protect me the most. So I went pretty solid there, 6 deep.
For those watching or listening at home, just use 1-3 in the last leg, because those are the ones that are just going to beat Randy when he leaves off 2 horses there in the last leg. My early pick 5 thoughts as well. We differ in race 2 though. You use 1-2. I went all in on Belle Boubou. I think that this is one that put forth a good effort. Hasn't really gotten a chance to race because she hasn't stayed at it, but this is one I think could put forth a good try tonight. I'm with you, CJ Desby, one that I'm going to go all in on. In the last 2 legs I struggled with. I went 5x4 in the last 2 legs, but I didn't want to leave off Ivy Lynn in the opener. I'm intrigued with the the new surroundings tonight, but I'm with you. It's Caballero's race to lose so long as he trots. And we're going to look at some late pick 5 ticket ideas as well. Randy will get a chance to look at your ticket here. Just the one single in race number 9.
Yep.
Look, you can turn this into a pick 4 because Blue Jean Gal is going to be, likely a free bingo square.
Yeah, exactly there. So that's kind of the way that more or less that I looked at. Didn't go, overly crazy, too deep in the 6, and then the only race in the late pick 5 that I really struggled with was, I was going to hit the all button in race number 10, but instead I'm just going to go with the 4 picks that I sent in, the 1, 4, 6, and 7, but seems like both last legs are the tough ones for me to get through.
I think I have a few singles here in this sequence, I want to say. I think I went,
you do?
I went all in on the 2 horse. So I'm going to just take a shot here with Blue Rare in the spot. I think it's a wide open race though, but I'm going to take a stand there. Race 7, I'll just use the 3 main contenders that I think are the ones, Sid the Kid, Quebec, Hanover, Emoji Hanover. No Better Air, I think this is a spot where she should have every chance to win. I mean, she was in to go in a Grand Circuit Stakes.
Top.
Was it the
in against Daya?
Yeah, and she scratched out of that contest, but she's in to go here in a grassroots leg, so I'm going to go all in on her. And then Blue Jean Gal and race number 9. In race 10, I'll just use 1, 6, 7. So I've got a couple of singles or a single or 2 that I think could be separators potentially, and a cheap little ticket there for a $9 cost. All right, Randy, let's go to some plays of the nights, and you're up first.
Okie dokie. So we're going to go with my all-in is going to come along in race number 3. And that's going to be CJ Desby, all in on that girl tonight. Waples Watch going to come along in race number 4, and that's going to be Devil's Arch. We showed you that replay. He's got his wheel hooked last start, picking up McDonald tonight. Beat the favorite in race number 5. Horse with a plan for the Cullens right in the middle of the gate. And worth a look is going to be JM Ooh La La. Now, these last 2, I'm kind of shopping for prices with the Beat the Fave and the worth a look. JM Ooh La La, I think, is going to need a certain trip to get the job done, to beat what is it?
No Better Air.
No Better Air.
She could get it though.
But I think that she can get it.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm going to go that route. I had No Better Air on top in her last start when she was going to be racing against Daya.
Yep.
I did. But
that's why I thought you'd go to her.
I was going to, but I'm going to go JM Ooh La La, only because I think that she can get her the right kind of trip.
She's been racing really well. My wild card Caballero, again, we don't know what we're going to get from him. That's the biggest thing. Spot play, Belle Boubou, I'm going to give that filly a shot in race number 2. My best bet, Blue Rare. Looked like she had some pace, some trot, I should say, in behind a rival. My all-in, No Better Air in the late pick 5. So, this is a tricky card, but I'm intrigued by it as well, and we look forward to taking you through this 11 pack on this Monday night program, and all horses that we all think merit a lot of respect in this spot. Kevin Plocher, Devil's Arch. Ghislaine J. Moulala, pay attention. You were paying attention for sure. And Mastercraft, spot play. All right, so we're going to be back up momentarily to preview race number 1, and that kicks off the early pick 5, guaranteed at $75,000. Good luck.